you're not familiar with which weapons you want to try to take from us?
Yeah, I don't want weapons that can kill people all in
Did
one
you know
time.
I could get a hammer and kill somebody?
For the rally? I'm not actually just
I mean,
If you're uneducated, all guns are scary. All guns, across the board, until you educate yourself and become familiar with what they are and what they're capable of not doing, unless they're in the hands of criminals.
just like a hammer.
Why aren't we going into neighborhoods and rounding up guns from criminals?
Like in Chirac.
Yeah,
You don't know who the criminals are until they shoot
have you
people.
But we do. No, that's not true,
Have you
ma'am.
contacted probation and parole and asked to go do sweeps of people's houses to see if
Well,
they have
maybe
weapons?
that could be your job.
That should be your job because you're trying to take guns from
And
respectable
what is your
upstairs.
job
Yeah,
to
thank
deal
you
with
so
those
much.
people?
Those
Hey,
people?
are you here for the rally?
That,
Oh,
the
good.
criminals.
I don't give a shit about anybody owning guns as long as they're not messing with me, whether it's a criminal or whether it's
So
a
you don't give
respectable
a shit
citizen.
if they're killing kids in schools
Who's
and
killing
anything,
kids?
as long people with guns that are not just a single shot. They can make many. They can kill many people.
All guns can do multiple shots and kill many people. All guns, handgun, all guns, BB guns. BB guns can.
Where are those children's parents when they're making these plans and isolating themselves and planning school shootings? Do the parents need to take any kind of responsibility?
And last time I checked, every single shooter in the last year has been a non-criminal. They've been a legal gun owner, an upstanding citizen. And even when the feds were contacted about the kid down in Florida, they didn't do anything at all, nothing.
See, this is what happens when you have debates with liberals. They just
turn their back on you.
because they got nothing to say.
Let's go get our AR-17s and
Have you ever thought that we need guns to protect our kids? Maybe we need to have people in the schools armed to protect the kids. Yeah, ignore me like you normally do. That's a typical
Go back to your side of the street.
Why?
No way.
Aren't you?
You must not have a gun on you, I guess.
No, I don't have a gun on me.
Then you can stay.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you.
I don't want to hear you, so go talk to someone.
Oh, yeah. You don't have any intellectual backup, so that's why you don't want to hear me. Yeah, I believe in the Second Amendment. I believe in the right to keep and bear arms. Have a good day. In Switzerland and Israel, they protect our kids with guns. Why can't we do that in our country?
They don't have a ignorance. And really, that's what the people that are controlling are hoping for, is they don't know anything about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think
Like a challenge, come on over and go out and shoot with me. I'll show you how much fun it is.
and just throw out the age limit and let them go through boot camp and have to qualify with the rifle.
They're just going off of fear. They're not educated on what they're trying to take.
Their definition of an assault rifle or an assault gun is one that can kill many people.
Yeah.
It looks scary.
I told her, she had nothing to say when I told her, hey, I can get a hammer right now and kill 10 people right here. But, you know, you're going to come out
Truck
with,
drivers
you know,
kill more
assault
people
hammer
every year.
legislation.
Look at how many people in the state of Oregon have passed away this year because of gun violence. Compare that to drunk drivers deaths, compared to any drug overdoses, compared to anything like that, and see what it looks like. It's all about power.
Yeah.
Here's the man that put this together. Let's go say hi to Kevin. Hi,
Oh.
Kevin. You're live.
You're not, but you're on video.
I'm always on video. Hey, that officer over there, I was like, thank you. Are you new? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, I worked here last year. He's like, I know. They got my face all over in their office.
No, we're having a good event here today. Lift every voice across the street. We're a bunch of patriots standing for our Second Amendment rights. Notice how we have tons of flags over here. And I don't see any flags over there. Does anybody see any flags?
America. There's not a single one.
They got a lot.
Obama, they beat us. They have Obama.
Okay.
Paper is not going to protect them.
Teach your daughters how to shoot because a piece of paper is not going to protect them.
You know, they want to jump to let's just disarm everybody. How about putting some security in the schools that can actually protect our son the way that they protect banks and money?
Like train security instead of people
Telling
visiting.
me that there is a dollar amount on the price of your children's lives?
Oh, man. You know,
That's all that
their
says to
goal is
me.
to eliminate humankind because animals are better. It's really unfortunate, but that's really their goal. Their aim. Every once in a while, I'll get on Facebook and somebody will talk about how terrible things are, and then because of environment and all that, and I says, you know, just think of all these screaming vegetables that had to give their lives so that these people could participate.
They all claimed that they wouldn't uphold that as a crime.
So the only one I see think like
It's different.
people call it dignitary.
Plants are
My processing.
animal or is life too, right?
Post was here.
Post was here. Was supposed to be mad. Did I see him? No. I don't know what he looks like.
I know what he looks like.
Well, why don't we gather everybody together, do the pledge?
Pledge of Allegiance. Do it nice and loud.
Loud.
We're ready when you are, Kevin.
He had to go back in. He had to go back in.
Look at this crowd of beautiful, loving, American-loving citizens.
Do it on 3. 1, 2.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. We have a pretty good group here. Glad. I know it's a Tuesday. I appreciate everybody's time, taking the time off to come out to the state capitol to show our support for the Second Amendment. My name is Kevin Conzo. I basically run the GGWG group on Facebook, and I'm very excited that we're here today. Very excited to show that we'll stand for the Second Amendment no matter what against groups that want to take our constitutional rights away. I'd like to open up with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you can remove your covers. And we're going to be facing this flag.
Oh.
The Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
Under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Thank you, folks. It's going to be a pretty quiet event today. We're just here to make a show. If any media comes up and talks to you, share your thoughts on the Second Amendment. I do want to invite Mark Callahan. Everybody give him a round of applause for showing up today. Mark. He's a strong advocate for the Second Amendment. He's running for Congress for Washington into the 5th Congressional District. Oregon's 5th Congressional District. Thank you, Mark. He's going to share a few words.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark Callahan. I am running for Congress in Oregon's 5th Congressional District against Kurt Schrader. Ladies and gentlemen, the Second Amendment is at the very bedrock, the very foundation of who we are as a country. The Second Amendment protects our First Amendment, and it has defined our country over the past 240 years that we've been a country. We cannot have our Second Amendment go to the way of the dinosaur. We have to defend our Second Amendment because, as I said, our Second Amendment defends our First Amendment, our freedom of speech, and that's why we're here today.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here today, as I said, to defend the Second Amendment. I'm a strong Second Amendment supporter myself. As I said, I'm going back there to Congress to represent you, citizens of Oregon's 5th Congressional District, my fellow Americans. People don't talk about what brings us together anymore. People talk about what divides us into little groups. We have that group over there across the street that is very divisive. They talk about things like assault weapons. To me, assault is a verb, not an adjective. When they say something is an assault weapon, what exactly do they mean? What exactly do they mean? That could mean anything. It's very, very subjective. So I don't think they even know what they're talking about in terms of when they define something as an assault weapon. Anything can be an assault weapon, but as I said, I don't see the word assault as an adjective, I see it as a verb. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, I defend the right to our Second Amendment. I defend the right to be a fellow gun owner. I defend the right to be able to protect ourselves, not only in self-defense, but also against a tyrannical government. It is what our freedom is based upon. It is what our country is based upon. I've earned an AQ rating from the NRA. It's the highest rating that the NRA gives a non-incumbent candidate. I've earned a B+ rating from the OFF, Oregon Firearms Federation, or Oregon Federation of Firearms. It is the highest rating that they can give a non-incumbent candidate. I am there with you. I am there with you to defend the Second Amendment rights on the House floor back there in Washington, D.C. Right now we have incumbents back there that are bought. My opponent is bought. He is a bought politician. He no longer defends us. He no longer defends our rights. He thinks our rights are something to be bought and sold on the House floor, which is not something that our Congress should be about. It's not something that those who represent us should be about. Ladies and gentlemen, we stand for freedom because we know what freedom is. Yeah. We stand against tyranny because that is tyranny. Yeah. When they go to take away our weapons and define things that are assault weapons, that is tyranny across the street. We need to defend our Second Amendment rights, and that's what we need to do as Americans. It is our responsibility as Americans to defend our freedom at all costs. Ladies and gentlemen, as I stand here today to represent you. In about 40 days, I ask for your vote. I ask for your vote to send me to Washington, D.C. to defend your freedom, to defend your Second Amendment rights, and to defend your First Amendment rights that our Second Amendment rights defend as well. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mark Callahan. I'm running for Congress in Oregon's 5th Congressional District. Yeah. Let's get to work. Thank you. May God bless America.
Anybody else present that wanted to make any remarks publicly to the group as a whole? Any speechwriters?
Yeah, is there a way to put like a large sign that says "Let's talk" and be calm? These guys are idiots. You can't talk.
They don't want to talk. Angela and I and that lady there went over there,
anybody
and I tried to talk
say
and they told us to go away.
I just share my experience?
I'm just thinking maybe we should
Sure.
ask some of the visitors.
Okay.
I might go over there and invite them, but
I already tried to.
yeah. Well, I asked them the question. I hope I asked them the question. What? Oh.
Go ahead, man.
Thank you.
I can probably talk about it. If everybody can listen, I want to share an experience with you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Can you hear me? Testing. Yeah. Hello.
Closer.
Hello. Okay, there we go. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm a citizen of Oregon. I just wanted to give you an example of something that happened recently that brings this all home to where we live. I live in the Salem Kaiser area. I went away with my family for a while and for on vacation, and I came back home. I always keep my house tightly locked up. Our neighbors and I look out for each other when we're gone. I came back to discover that while I was gone, my next door neighbor's house was broken into. And it happened like this. My other neighbor who was watching out for my house came to me and said there were about 5 policemen with rifles in your back and front yard. The police thought that I had called because of a break-in. Turned out to be the neighbor on the other side. This is a couple who are semi-retired. The wife is a nurse. She had a gun. Apparently this intruder climbed over the fence. We have a field behind our house and we have fences. So she climbed over the fence, or this guy climbed over the fence, went through their back screen door. As you know, you leave your sliding glass door open with your screen. Sometimes you like the air. This was in the morning. So she had a gun. She held a gun on the guy and told him to leave her house, which he did. Well, he went down and invaded another neighbor's house about a house away. They were able to get him out of their house. It's an elderly couple. the man was trying to take his wife out for breakfast and she was in a wheelchair. So I'm just telling you, this happened a couple of weeks ago. The man wasn't apprehended. I guess he was out of his mind on meth. So apparently a couple of streets behind us, there's a meth house. So it makes me feel that it confirms the fact that I need concealed carry, which I have, and that I have a gun in my home to protect myself, because you never know. The police are very responsive. We have great policemen here, but they can't be there that second that person invades your home, and it could have turned out very differently. So I just wanted to share with you, this just happened, okay? And there are a lot more out there. So thank you all for coming today to defend our rights.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll give another opportunity in a few minutes, but
Not one American flag on the other side. War weapon. A little disappointed. Republican wasn't too. Yeah, I know. Jackie Letters you're out of San Marcos. 30-some years. Sent her emails and stuff about I think they're afraid before the election to say that's it.
If they're Republicans and they were smart.
Get a picture of the AR and the NRA.
Okay.
From sea to shining sea.
Hold it closer, Rick. Right now, Rick Perko again. I'm from Salem. A few months ago, I remember 18 years of working with the building behind here. I can tell you, that these are that kind of thing that members, lawmakers adhere to and listen to. You go in there and tell them that we need substantive legislation to control this epidemic, they will listen. So again, thank you for coming to Salem. Please stay involved with Lift Every Voice Oregon. Thank you.
There are organizers all around the state. We have them in many parts, and Rick is the one for the Salem area. We want to welcome now, and before the next speaker, if you need to sit down at times, please do so. If it gets too hot, there is a canopy you're hoping to get under. But this is not the kind of thing you probably want to sit too much anyway. So our next speaker is Julie Ingram from the Soulbox Project. Thank you, Julie, for being here. Julie.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for inviting us. I'm a member of Moms Demand Action, and today representing the Soulbox Project. What is it? Soul boxes are tiny little origami boxes, one box for each gun violence victim. That close. One box for each victim of gun violence. This box is for Jason Washington, who, as you know, was shot in June, Portland State University mall police. So one box can represent an actual person, or it's representative of many. In front of the podium are 100 boxes per bag, adding up to 500, which is the number of victims in Oregon every year to suicide, homicide, unintentional shootings, and legal officers. Why do we do it? We're doing it because art can make a huge impact, like the AIDS bill, like the Vietnam Memorial, like 27 pairs of empty shoes honoring the Newtown victims. This project was only started in November, but already it's growing from Portland out into the rest of the state and out into the country. Our ambition is to
Wonder
have
why there are no
large
American
installments
flags
in
here.
public places all
Because they're
over
not
the country.
Americans.
Oh,
And the
that makes
first
sense.
big installment is going to be here in the lobby, in the rotunda, February 15th of next year. And we will have 36,000 boxes, which represents the number of
I have a
victims
master's
in the
degree in
entire
chemical
country
engineering.
in 1 year.
Good.
That
Good.
is impact.
What is it in women's
And I am
studies?
so happy to tell you, we have already collected 22,000
Who are you speaking
boxes.
to, ma'am?
I heard that figure last
May
night.
the next
and
victim be in your family.
I was very thrilled.
You're being rude.
So who's doing it? Individuals? Individuals have loved this project. They're making boxes at home, watching
There they
TV
go,
or
trying to
whatever,
repress your freedom of
and
speech
bringing
again.
them to drop-off places or mailing them in. Groups are doing it in groups of families, in friends, home parties.
You know what's rude? People trying to steal our
Churches are
Second
doing
Amendment.
it.
How
I
about that?
belong to a church.
Nobody's trying to
downtown
steal your
Portland.
Second Amendment.
We've declared every
I'm
fourth
talking to you.
Sunday Soul Box Sunday. And we have pledged to contribute 4,000 boxes to this project that's going to be over here.
You hear that?
So, make the box, it counts. Thank you.
Prohibit sales of assault weapons.
Yeah. They can't seem to define what an assault weapon is, though.
Thanks for coming. We'd like to thank the governor. My name is Danny Bell, by the way, and I'm a member of the Augustana Lutheran Church. But we first would like to thank the governor and our legislators for giving us an opportunity to engage as citizens in this great republic. And to those ends, I'd like to read the 6 principles of nonviolence as formulated by Dr. Martin Luther King. The fundamental tenets of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s philosophy of nonviolence described in his first book, Stride Toward Freedom. The 6 principles include Principle 1, nonviolence is a way of life for courageous people. It is an active nonviolent resistance to evil. It is aggressive spirituality, mentally, and emotionally. Principle 2, nonviolence seeks to win friendship and understanding. The end result of nonviolence is redemption and reconciliation. The purpose of nonviolence is the creation of the beloved community. And now we have Lisa.
My name is Janie Paterno, and I'm speaking on not only behalf of the Advisory Committee for Lift Every Voice Oregon, but also from an educator standpoint who has been involved in one too many drills for for a shooter drill, and also been involved in a real drill, which is not only frightening for the staff and teachers, but also very frightening for the kids that were involved. So I'm speaking number principle 3
Very cute.
is nonviolence seeks to defeat injustice, not people. Nonviolence recognizes that evildoers are also victims and are not evil people. The nonviolent resistor seeks to defeat evil, not people. Principle 4, Nonviolence holds that suffering can educate and transform. Nonviolence accepts suffering without retaliation. Unearned suffering is redemptive and has tremendous educational and transforming possibilities.
Lady sounds like an idiot.
Good morning. My name is Joe Paterno. I've watched my wife practice these drills and know what she and the students of this country have been through. I'd like to read Principle 5. Nonviolence chooses love instead of hate. Nonviolence resists violence of the spirit as well as the body. Nonviolent love is spontaneous, unmotivated, unselfish, and creative. Principle 6. Nonviolence believes that the universe is on the side of justice. The nonviolent resistor has deep faith that justice will eventually win. Nonviolence believes that God is a God of justice. Thank you.
Well, the Jews were nonviolent resistors in World War II, and you see what happened to them.
So I'm David Wheeler, a longtime pastor of First Baptist Church in downtown Portland, professor of theology and ethics, and I represent, for myself at least, and many of my colleagues, the Jesus way, which believes that actually turning the other cheek, actually loving our enemies, actually responding to evil with good is, in the long run, a winning strategy. Violence creates more violence. Love and kindness actually is a position of strength. And we need to say that as people of faith. When we push back against gun violence, we are not being weak, we are being strong.
Well, Jesus said in Luke 22 to buy swords to protect yourselves.
This song has been performed by Pete Seeger all over the world.
He was a
And
communist.
I just added it to my repertoire just a couple of years ago.
I'll take more than one.
Oh, you know, like the That's a new one. They have a sign in the so anti-gun means. Thank you. You're welcome.
I like that song. I do too.
Those guys
Hold
are
it
stupid
still,
over
sweetie.
there.
Hold it still.
It's cute.
See that flag over there? That's an anarchy flag.
Oh, okay, I'll have to get it.
That flag over there is the Cascadia flag. So that's that separation part of Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and a section of Canada that are trying to resist that flag right there. That's part of Black Bloc and Antifa.
Oh, okay, I'll go get a better picture of it when I get a chance. They do in Switzerland and Israel.
I've never had a student come up to me and say that. I've had students come up to me and say, we have to do this because it's the right thing. I have two twin daughters who are freshmen in high school. They have never come up to me and said, Daddy, the Gallup poll says it's going to be hard to ban assault weapons. They say, Daddy, we need to ban assault weapons because in our classrooms right now, they're teaching us how to hide under desks. They're teaching us how to hide under desks and weapons. That's not right.
So arm the teachers.
So we have hope that things will be better despite the evidence of our times. And we have hope because of all of you who are gathered here today. So for those who cannot be here, I ask you to go and visit lifteveryvoice.org and sign our petition and ask the Oregon legislature to take action on this important issue. Continue to work on this issue. Continue to pray on this issue. Continue to donate to the organizations that are working on this issue. And may God's blessings be on all the people of Oregon. Thank you very much.
In Luke 22, Jesus told people to buy swords to protect themselves.
After our next speaker, I want you to look around who you're with. If you came with others from another part of the state, and choose one of you if you wish. You don't have to do this, but if you wish, if you're from Eugene, a walking group I know is here. There's some other churches singing off mass and people just goodwill. But send one of your representatives up here, and after the next speaker, we're just going to do a sound off. You'll simply say, my name is so-and-so, and we're from such and such. No speeches, just we want to get a litany of who's here. If you're not comfortable doing it that way, we'll shout it out from out there, okay? But our next speaker, I do want to say too, after Reverend Curry's rousing peace and the others before him, this campaign has been generated not by big money in this country at all, despite what you read.
George Soros, what about him?
So we've asked for none to this point. They've all come from over 250 people giving $25, $50, $100. And a child gave the first $5 when we kicked this off. Our next speaker is Madeleine Garçon.
Hi, my name is Madeleine Garçon, and I live here in Salem. I would have had something prepared, but my brother had a cardiac event and was in ICU. So I think I'm not really an expert at what bills we're working on right now, but I am an expert at as a mother who lost her daughter to gun violence. Horrific, violent gun violence. November 10th, 2014, 46 and a half months ago, my daughter, Nicolette Elias, was gunned down, shot 7 times with a 9mm Glock by her ex-husband while her little girls, who were 7 and 8, were there. He then took the little girls, made them step over their mother's dead, bleeding out body, and took them to his house. And when the SWAT team got there, he shot and killed himself. In an instant, our whole family, our whole lives were changed forever because of gun violence. This is a person who should have not have had a gun. He was ordered by the courts to have his guns removed. It's layer upon layer of trauma. This man, he was ordered by the courts to have his guns removed. He got his guns, a lot of them, online without a background check. He posted weird things on YouTube that would have been a real red flag for anybody. And he killed my daughter, Sonia. That was her only sibling, her secret keeper, her confidant. So I'm an expert at a mother who has a daughter that's grieving beyond belief.
You obviously are not an expert on the Second Amendment.
I'm a grandmother to 2 girls who had their father, who should have been the one person that protected them against everything, killed their mother. The last time India saw her mother, she said, she even had arrows sticking out of her, and I can't get that out of my head. Nicolette worked at Portland State University. They have an endowed scholarship fund in her name. Before that, she worked at Cal State Fullerton for 10 years. She was a good person. She contributed a lot to friends and family. And it may be almost 4 years, but to me, it's been like 4 days. So I light a candle every single night with her picture there on the mantle. And sometimes I just go, oh God, Nicolette. You know, and I'm still dealing with kids who are in therapy. One's medicated. Now the other one might need to be medicated. A daughter who just can't even begin to believe it. And every month I get a flyer from parents from murdered children. I think of
That sign is bullshit.
all these things. And one more thing that if all that doesn't convince you, maybe well, I can't forget this. This is my daughter Nicolette and my son. And this was a few years before it happened. But with all that, here's her death certificate saying homicide. She was murdered. She was shot 7 times. I also have a husband who was shot 5 times in the stomach in Vietnam with an AK-47. He became a diabetic. His kidneys failed. He's now having a lot of trouble with that, but guns, bad laws do a lot of damage. Now I know Kate Brown voted for good sense laws. I know that Paul Evans voted for good sense laws. They listened to their constituents and they did something about it.
Kate Brown also is for funding abortions.
You want to do a shout out of who's here? Go ahead and shout out. Come on up the stairs, say who you are.
Good morning, Casey Fast from Portland Mennonite Church. We have 4 of our members. Last July we had 10 people praying to work on the petition. We're behind this.
All right, keep it going. Here we go.
My name is Faye Elias. I'm the area lead for moms. We are 100 strong. We're behind.
No, they know who I am.
That is the Cascadia flag.
Here today, I've been able to work with the lead. Stalkers not getting done, crowds, users, etc. But we need to do more. And so we're partway there. But we're not stopping it. We really need to do more.
We're not stopping either.
One of them is really simple. It just says you don't need any large capacity magazines. You don't need more than 10 rounds in any single.
What's the difference for some
You don't even know what you're talking about. 30 round magazines. You know, and they use them 64 rounds were shot up and they killed 26 teachers.
Those are facts.
In Aurora, they had 100 round magazines. That means you don't have to really lift your finger at all parts of it. And you can shoot off 100 rounds.
What about the
They killed 12. They
What about
wounded
the
58.
that use knives?
Taking
I am talking.
taking guns.
Because it's
They stuck. They had 75 round magazines.
you don't even know what an assault weapon
They
is.
killed 5, wounded
You're saying they
29.
used an AR-15 in Vietnam.
I thought it was 44 and 43
Or
were.
an M14.
Twice as many
What the
children.
difference is, there's a switch. It says 3-round burst, full auto or safe. You can't have that in the United States.
People when they're
And
in
then
shooting.
what I used, an
You
M16.
don't
The
need
first one you
no one
didn't
here
have a
was
forward assist.
You
Then
don't
they found
need
out the
to.
issue with you guys wearing your helmets for oil because they were jamming up because they drive you.
It isn't your right to tell us what we need and don't need. Nor is it the government's.
Assault rifles are already banned. An AR-15, it's like a 22.
An
But
AR-15.
it's got a longer range.
That's right, my mom showed up, y'all. Everybody say hi to mama.
If it wasn't for the rifle and the flag, you wouldn't be here to talk.
It's a family thing.
Where's an American flag over here?
By our government. You can figure out.
Where's there an American flag in any one of this? You guys have a Cascadia flag.
You certainly don't need
Those guys right there burn American flag.
There's no one who's died more than
Why you say that's an argument?
in their
That group right there burned American flags. What'd you fight for in Vietnam?
no need for
Did you get sucked into Did you get sucked into or did you go and fight? Did you go and fight? My whole family. My grandfather, my dad, all of my uncles.
you already have them.
This is an ordinance, sir. You're trying to take away stuff that my freedom's gained.
90 rounds.
It doesn't make any sense. You guys don't make any sense.
You don't answer his question.
Because you don't answer my question. I thought you don't answer.
Second thing, we are still asking for banning assault weapons. We're defining them. We're going to make it very clear that they are the military-style weapons that don't need, again, to be used when you go hunting.
I'm not insulting anybody. I'm giving you facts. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't use any foul language. My hands are in my pockets. I'm staying monotone. So what point of this conversation was assaulting? You're using a word out of context. I didn't assault anybody. Just like that word assault rifle doesn't count with the AR-15 in the United States. The person over there that says they want to get rid of an AR-17 doesn't even exist. Well then, you know what? Let me ask you a question. 80% of society, listen, 80% of society backed Hitler before he started. 80%. Then he got rid of all of the weapons and he took over.
Next speaker, and we have a lot of high school students.
The last form of fighting tyranny is a firearm. You don't make any sense. Go listen to all the other snowflakes over there. Go listen to the rest of the...
Yeah, I'm a proud girl. How you doing?
How are we Nazis?
What do you mean?
How are we? You refer to us as Nazis. How are we Nazis? No, the Nazis are actually far left. The Nazis were for gun control. We're against gun control.
I love how that's the only form of tyranny that you guys can cite.
Oh, well, the Nazis were for...
The Electoral College was a form of tyranny. It worked to get a guy in the office that's a Nazi. So, explain that. Without any guns.
What did Hitler do?
Well, the Nazis were for big government. We're against big government.
Because they make you guys uncomfortable, so I have to keep your voice down so we can hear.
We're actually here for a reason.
It's really
Not
what it is.
Oh, sorry.
a fun, happy time with guns.
Disarmed citizens in a war-torn country. Don't come here to America and try to push your communistic, fascist ways on us. Go to Venezuela.
You know someone who's been a victim of gun violence.
Does anybody see an American flag?
There would be more victims of gun violence if we outlawed them.
I am here because I am tired of that and I want
as soon as I came in,
gun violence. We need to be liberated from that violence. My daughter started first grade. I want to see the day they don't have to even think about gun violence in their
Well, in Switzerland and Israel, they protect kids with guns.
I am a person of faith. I represent people of faith. I represent people who love this country. And we want to be able to live in this country in peace.
Why don't you carry the American flag in this group then?
Looking for, sorry, lost the screen.
All right, guys, my battery's dying.
We know the Lord will see us through. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. I've got my hand on the justice plow. Wouldn't take nothing from a journey now. Keep your eyes.
Remember, it was the Ku Klux Klan that was for taking guns from blacks.
Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Chain a man can stand. Is that chain of hand in hand? Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. I've never been to heaven, but I've been told the streets up there are paved with gold. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. My people, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Oh, keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. We are. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, people.
The prize our founding fathers gave us was the Constitution.
Yes, we're gonna get this done. Enough is enough.
Alan Keller, Uncle. You know, our colleagues in the interfaith
That's a good thing. That's what keeps America free. That's why America is
Native American spiritual leaders, we love working together. How we understand how creators are working our lives. But Jesus said, when he was asked, what is the great commandment? No, this is the greatest commandment according to the scriptures. Love the Lord your God with your heart, mind, soul, and strength.
Oh, Terry, they're quoting Jesus.
As yourself.
What? They're quoting Jesus.
We hate nobody. We're not going into any gutter in this country. You aren't going to see it happen.
Why we have a Second Amendment right because of Jesus.
Humanist right for our children. So thank you for coming out today. It's so good to have you here. This is a marathon. Maybe it's a moment. Get yourselves geared up. Get ready. Drink some water. Be ready for the long term. What happens in Oregon can transform this country.
We would be here.
Fight for it.
We're fighting for our rights. We're fighting for the Constitution.
But every child on that face is as we are sisters and brothers. All of our speakers.